All right, let's talk about a huge move from Microsoft in the AI world, Semantic Kernel. Now, this is a framework they've built from scratch, and it's aimed squarely at their own ecosystem. For a certain kind of developer, this is a really big deal. So let's dive in and see who that is.
So, if you're a .NET developer, does this question hit home? You see all this amazing stuff happening in AI, right? All these new models, these new frameworks, but it feels like everything, and I mean everything, is built for Python first. It's easy to feel like you're stuck on the sidelines just watching the game.
Well, that's all starting to change. Microsoft has definitely heard the frustration, and they've responded by building their very own native answer, a framework that's designed from the ground up for developers living and breathing in the world of C#, .NET, and the whole Microsoft stack.
And that solution, as you've probably guessed, is Semantic Kernel. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't just some side project or another tool they're throwing out there. No, this is a major strategic play. Microsoft wants this to be the standard AI framework for their huge base of developers and especially their enterprise customers.
Okay, so what is this thing really? At its core, Semantic Kernel is an open-source framework. But the two words you really need to remember are integration and orchestration. Think of it as the glue and the grain. It's all about helping you build really complex AI apps by connecting all the different pieces, and, of course, it's super optimized to work perfectly with Microsoft's own tech, like Azure.
You know, here's a simple way to wrap your head around it. Let's talk about LangChain for a second. You've probably heard of it. It's the huge Python framework. Think of LangChain as this amazing piece of software built for a Mac. It's powerful, it's fantastic, but it just wasn't born in the Windows world. Semantic Kernel, that is the native Windows software. It was built from day one to feel like it belongs, to just work seamlessly inside the Microsoft ecosystem. For any C# or .NET dev, it's designed to feel, well, like a home.
All right, so we get the what and the why. Now let's peel back the layers and look at the how. We're going to break down the three main parts that really make Semantic Kernel tick. First, you have the kernel. This is the absolute core, the heart of the whole system. The best way to think about it is as the central brain, or like the conductor of an orchestra. It's the thing that gets a request from the user and then says, okay, to get this done, I need this tool and that service.
Now, a brain isn't much use without hands or tools, right? And that's exactly what plugins are. These are the tools the kernel gets to use. A plugin can be something as simple as an AI prompt, summarize this text. Or it can be a full-blown C# function that goes and talks to your company's database or calls some other API. They're basically all the different skills or actions the AI can perform.
So we've got the brain, the kernel, and we've got the tools, the plugins. The big question is, how do you string them together to solve something complicated? Well, that's where the planner comes in. And honestly, this is where the magic happens. You give the planner a high-level goal, and it automatically figures out which plugins to use and in what order to get the job done. It's like it's building a multi-step plan all on its own. Let's put it all together with a quick example. Imagine a user asks for something like, hey, summarize my latest emails from my boss and turn them into a to-do list. So what happens? First, the planner looks at that goal. It thinks, okay, I'll need a plugin to access emails, and then I'll need a different plugin to summarize text and create a list. It creates that two-step plan. And then the kernel steps in and actually runs the plan step by step to give the user exactly what they asked for.
Okay, this all sounds really cool and powerful, but let's be real. The only question that matters for you as a developer is, should I actually use this for my project? So let's get practical.
Honestly, the answer here is pretty straightforward. If you are a C# or .NET developer through and through, if your company's infrastructure is all in on Azure, if you need that peace of mind that comes with official Microsoft support, then yes, Semantic Kernel was basically built for you. And it gets even more powerful when you start plugging it into things like Microsoft 365.
But let's be fair, it's not the perfect tool for everyone. On the flip side, if your team's main language is Python, then yeah, you're probably better off sticking with something like LangChain. It just has a much bigger community and more libraries right now. And if your project isn't on the Microsoft stack at all, or you're just trying to build a quick and dirty prototype, there are probably faster ways to get started.
So, with that in mind, let's just zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture. In the whole landscape of AI frameworks out there, where does Semantic Kernel really fit in? How does it stack up against the competition?
When you look at a comparison like this, one thing just jumps off the page, doesn't it? LangChain, Haystack, they're awesome, but they are Python first.
Semantic Kernel is the only one here with that official stamp of approval from Microsoft. And look at that Azure integration. Yeah, the others can connect to Azure, but Semantic Kernel's connection is native. That means it's deeper, it's smoother, and for big enterprise apps, that is a huge, huge advantage.
And really, that's the key takeaway here. You have to understand that for Microsoft, this isn't just some weekend project. This is a massive strategic investment. They're pouring resources into this because they want Semantic Kernel to be the standard, the go-to way their biggest enterprise customers build AI.
So if you had to boil it all down to one sentence, this quote is just perfect. It's the LangChain equivalent for the Microsoft ecosystem. That's its mission, to take all that powerful AI orchestration that the Python world has enjoyed and deliver it right to the doorstep of every single .NET developer out there.
And that leaves us with one big question to think about. When you have the full power of Microsoft pushing this forward and millions of developers already working in their ecosystem, are we watching the beginning of a new standard for enterprise AI? I mean, is this how big companies are going to build AI from now on? We'll have to wait and see, but for sure, this is one to keep a very close eye on.